final project of the semester. My name is David, and I'm presenting it. So, when considering my final project, my main approach and the thing that I kind of followed through when I was brainstorming was that I really miss my childhood. And so I wanted to connect with people that are kind of in my age range because I'm at an age where I'm not necessarily too old, but I'm old enough to kind of reminisce. So I went with 16 to 26. That's the age range. So as you can see from the pictures, like someone that's a teenager, college student, maybe an artist, someone that really, misses those times where they got to create as a kid and have that complete control over that. Um with um with my word choice, I chose control. It was mostly because of the fact that I was listening to SZA. I kind of changed up the abbreviation because I didn't want to copy the album, and I just kind of it honestly I went with the letters that seem more appealing to create because I was thinking kind of long term when it came to this project, and I wanted to have something that wouldn't completely melt my brain. With the mood board, I kind of gravitated towards this Instagram page called Spooky Woods, and he does a bunch of clay art. And this is kind of what got me on this whole tangent where it's like, oh, I miss really playing with clay as a kid, and I really miss like being able to have these fun thoughts. But he creates or they create a mixture of both hip hop and childhood, so you can see it from the references and the style. And he has some stuff of MF Doom, and I wanted to go with those bright, fascinating colors. And that's what I ended up gravitating to. Um, with my thumbnails, I kind of just started off. On the right were my first concepts. I mostly wanted to make it out of clay. Um, and then I started gravitating to more like different materials or materials that I personally used as a kid. So that would have been clay. That would have been cardboard because I used to make stuff with cardboard, fabric. I even had a sock. If you look on the right side in the bottom left corner. I even thought about the positioning of the letters or how I kind of wanted them to be displayed. Um, with my sketches, this was kind of what I went for. Um, with my final approach were those four letters. With the first letter being made out of clay, I wanted to kind of replicate that spooky wood style, so I kind of went with that. The N would be made out of cardboard, the T would be made out of fabric, and the L would be made out of Legos. My original idea for the foundation for the clay was tinfoil. I did end up switching that up to kind of make things a little bit smoother for myself. And I think the product ended up pretty good. Here's my process. So I started off with just a box, cutting up the cardboard and making the letters. You could see I started with the letter N because I felt like okay, that one would be the most like technically kind of difficult. Not as difficult as the C, of course, but it was definitely one of those like, oh, let me start off with this so I kind of get a feeling for the rest of the project. I had some hot glue and I built up the foundation. You could see the T in the bottom left. Around that, I made it out of a fabric. Originally, I wanted to go with that felt where you could see the sprinkles of it. The felt ended up being a little too thick, so I didn't end up going with that. So I just kind of went with like this old flannel, and I had the buttons on there, so it was just like, okay, cool. Adds texture to it. You could see that I started developing the end that kind of have its own characters. So, messing around with the cardboard, picking apart its different layers and putting it on top of the end, so it's not just like bland. Putting little googly eyes on it because I thought it was cute. The C, I used a lot of tape to create some sort of stability whenever I was gluing it together. So you'll see tape a lot in some of these. And then instead of going with the tinfoil and the wire, I did use the cardboard as a base for the letter C. So I just kind of layered the clay on top, added those little spikes to kind of give off that effect. It's pretty cool. Bottom right were my letters that I ended up making by hand, and they ended up turning out pretty decent, in my opinion. I also did get to whip out my old Lego box and got to reminisce a little bit. It was really fun. I was building with Legos, searching through my bucket. I haven't done that in a while, so it was kind of nice. Everything I did during this process, I kind of planned out to see, okay, how efficiently can I do this, and how can I do this without pulling all of my hair out in this process. Um, Kind of the final result, I was trying to figure out kind of how to frame the letters, what environment that I kind of wanted to have them in. Um, the issue was whenever I was making this, and I didn't get the time recently. I didn't really find an environment that I kind of liked. I did end up adding some altercations, like you can see with the N. I put a little bit of clay on the side, so it kind of looks like it's, the C spread to the N, and it kind of created a cool effect. I played with the positioning a little bit, played with a little bit of like objects in front of it. Ultimately, though, I ended up going the Photoshop route, and I just made a super distorted, very colorful, like banner sort of thing, using like the googly eyes as little dots. Again, I just really wanted it to be colorful, and it's extremely saturated, and it came out in a way that I thoroughly enjoyed. Like, it looks like something that I would look on Instagram and be like, oh wow, like I like this, especially with the C. I just like how the C turned out a lot. And the colors are just so different from each other. So that was my final product. I ended up just taking it to Photoshop, putting it on that white background, spooky wood style, and that is my final result. Thank you very much for listening, for watching my presentation. If you have any questions, you can hit up this email, or my Canvas through whatever I submitted. I'll put the link to the video after I submit this. Thank you very much, and have a good rest of your day.